Hello YouTube, Dave here again. Welcome to the end of 7 straight days of starter set related videos. We did Monday through Friday was 5 separate unboxing videos. Saturday was my Alien RPG First Edition starter set Saturday review video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the differences between the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner Box and the remastered re-release of the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner Box. Now, truthfully, I don't think there's going to be a ton of, really noticeable differences. The majority of the components that are going to be included, I suspect, are going to be pretty much the exact same. The map should be the exact same. The premise of the adventure and the overall, the maps and stuff like that, or the encounters, are likely all going to be the same as well. I don't think there were any, OGL-specific creatures that were in the beginner box originally that had to be subsequently removed from the Orc licensed version. But there are going to be some terminology changes, and there are some changes to class abilities, as well as spells and things like that. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what differences we do have. And one of the first differences is actually pretty noticeable right off the bat. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. And when I was taking a picture for the thumbnail of this video, I thought it was just because the remastered one was still in the cellophane and closer in proximity to my ring light. But the green for the box, and even the green on the artwork, and it seems like the artwork overall is a brighter coloration than it is on the original beginner box. So, see if I can... If we stack these and compare them together, it's not super noticeable, but it is definitely a bit noticeable that the remaster one just seems to be slightly brighter, just a slightly brighter shade there. And again, it might show up better in the thumbnail than the actual product here. But let's go ahead and just get the plastic off of the remastered one. So I haven't looked at anything yet. I'm opening it. I'm basically, going to be seeing it at the same time as I'm recording this. All right. Just get the plastic off of it here. And I've had so much plastic build up from the last few days of opening up starter sets there. But there we go. So those two are together, and again, just slightly different brightnesses when it comes to the dragon's wings look a little bit brighter. The coloration of the dragons looks. I don't know if somebody just hit the brightness a little bit or the contrast maybe a little bit. But there is it is noticeable if you're sitting here and looking at it in person. Let's open up the original one first, and we'll sort of go component by component. All right, so that's the original box. And here is the remastered box. So I don't see the ad for Sirenscape in here. We do have our Game Aid cards and our Read This First. But the dice, like I said, a lot of the components are going to be the exact same. So original, remaster, and I will keep these separate. The included pawn bases has the one standout red base here, the one standout blue base here, and I forget why they have ones that are different colors. I think somebody had mentioned it before, but I don't know if it's if you get ones with a bunch of multicolored bases, you could distinguish different creatures of the same stat block, or exactly what that was supposed to represent, but we have those. Now, and of course we do have the Sirenscape card on the original. There might be one in this one, it just might be not positioned, because obviously I've opened this, the original one, and used it and put things back in. But I do want to take a look at the Game Aid cards, because this is where, again, it's going to be come down to terminology, I think, more so than anything else. But it will still be interesting to see how different they are. So, and this first page, or this first side, should honestly probably not have any differences whatsoever. Drop prone, interact, leap, seek, stand, step, stride, and strike. So those are all the same, but on the other side, we should have a slight change in terminology. Actually, there's a little bit of a difference here. So we got concealed, and then we've got flat-footed on the original. So concealed, flat-footed, frightened, grabbed, and persistent damage. And here we've got concealed, frightened, grabbed, and then off guard. So you can see here, off guard versus the description for flat-footed, and it's basically the same thing. It's just a change in the terminology. Everything else looks to be pretty much the exact same. Page references are the exact same. The condition values and what they do are the exact same. But yeah, it is like, again, the biggest difference is going to be, coming down to like terminology for a lot of the stuff. For example, healing or positive and negative energies were renamed to vitality and void, respectively. So something that can heal positive energy, like, the cure spell, it does vitality it's basically like vitality in the Pathfinder Remaster. So it heals it heals and then it harms undead because they are healed by void energy, which was called negative energy before. So I kind of stumbled my way through that, but I think we got there. And then we got to read this first. And again, these two sheets look pretty much exact the same. However, I want to say on the other side is an advertisement for some of the products that are out already, I think. I could be wrong. That might be another thing, actually. But let's take a look here. Oh, no, it's just the contents. Okay. Okay, it's just the contents. And those are the same between the two. This Pathfinder Society one might be slightly different. So let's go ahead and we'll just clear some of this out and kind of reorganize it a little bit. We do have the Pathfinder Society ad at the bottom of the box here. And yeah, there it is. Okay. So in the remastered one, it shows you the remastered books. And with the original one, it would show you the original books that were available. And then we're just going to alter the order of things here just a smidge to try to get it a little bit closer. So I'm going to assume that the characters will be at the bottom. And then we've got the two books. All right. And again, truthfully, like the pawns and the maps should be the exact same. I don't think there's going to be any major appreciable differences in those. So we'll just take this stuff out here. And okay, so we've got Beginner Box, Hero's Handbook, Remastered. So again, the main things I just kind of want to look at, and it might be easier just to look at it from the character sheet perspective, but the Choose Your Own Adventure should be the exact same. So if we look at the first few pages of that, we should see like the same artwork and the same options and everything. All right, we got the cave entrance. We've got the archer lady there. So pretty much a lot of this should be the same, but there will be some differences when we get to the possibly even the ancestry. So let's start with the dwarf. All right, so attribute bonuses, that should all be the same. Pick a heritage, so Death Warden, Forge Dwarf, or Rock Dwarf. So actually those might be the same. Yeah, the ancestries might actually be the same. I don't think they change in any like really noticeable way, but let's take a look at what we got for the options there. So the dwarf, Death Warden, Forge Dwarf, or the Rock Dwarf. Okay, so again, the contents there should be pretty well the same. Some of the differences in the classes, again, are probably just going to come down to like some of the spells. So we'll see that in the characters that have been selected as well. So let's just go ahead and we'll get to the wizard here. All right, so that's the remastered book. Let's get the wizard here, page 37. Should be the same page references, yep. So for the wizard spells, for example, level 1, we've got Burning Hands, Command, Featherfall, Fleet Step, Force Bolt, Gust of Wind, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Magic Weapon, Pest Form, and a few others here. Physical Boost, Protective Ward, Shocking Grass, Sleep. And then that looks to be it for the first level spells. So actually, looks like there's a difference in what things are available here as well. That is interesting. For the cantrips, actually some of the cantrips are different because the Acid Splash is no longer in here. You've got Acid Splash, Daze, Detect Magic, Ghost Sound, Light, Mage Hand, Message, Ray of Frost, Shield, and Sigil. And here, they've got like Gouging Claw, Tangle Vine, Telekinetic Projectile. So yeah, I guess the spell options have changed. But for the remaster, for example, the Burning Hands spell. So Burning Hands is 15-foot cone that does 2d6 fire damage. So this was something that would erupt from your fingertips, but here in the remaster, it is a breath weapon. So a gout of flame sprays out from your mouth in a 15-foot cone, deals 2d6 damage. So it's the exact same spell, but they just kind of changed, it's on a surface level. And then we don't have the... So we don't have Magic Missile anymore, but we do have Force Barrage, which is, again, the exact same thing. It's just that they changed the name. But what's interesting, so Mage Armor got changed to Mystic Armor, and Magic Weapon would have gotten changed to Runic Weapon in the new one. So a lot of it is sort of like the spell names. But they also added Spider Sting onto the Wizard spell list in the remaster, and that's not in the... well, actually, maybe I spoke too soon. I'm just going to turn the page and see, because I just realized that the spells don't end right there, do they? Oh, no, yeah, they don't have Spider Sting in the original, but they do here. So, yeah, there are some changes. Then we've got, for second level spells, we've got, so Acid Arrow has been changed to Acid Grip. Dispel Magic and Enlarge are the same. We got Flame Sphere and then Floating Flame. So you create a flame in one square within 30 feet that moves. So it's the exact same spell, but just again kind of change the name of it there. Invisibility is the same. Obscuring Mist has just been changed to Mist. And then you got Resist Energy and Water Walk. So yeah, again, pretty cool to see. And that's going to be like, so the vast majority of the differences there are going to be in those like spells and certain things. But let's take a look at the Fighter level 1 and see if there's any differences there. So the Fighter... Oh. Not quite want to sit flat, which I don't like to do anyway with my books, but there we go. And then the Fighter, so that would be page 26. So again, okay, so there do look to be some changes. So the Fighter reactions, they still have Reactive Strike, which is the new term for attack of opportunity that they had in the original version, and then Raise the Shield is the same, Shield Block would be the same. The Fighter combat style, so you got Power Attack, so which is 2 actions. You unleash a powerful attack that clobbers your foe but leaves you a bit unsteady. Make a melee strike. If you hit, roll 1 extra die of the listed type for your weapon's damage. Because the attack makes you unsteady, if you attack again, it takes the -10 penalty. Okay. And then you have Vicious Swing, which is pretty much the exact same. You unleash a particularly powerful attack that clubbers your foe but leaves you unsteady. Make a melee strike. It has an extra weapon die. If you attack again this turn, it takes -10 or -8 if you have an agile weapon. And then you got Shield Fighter, which is, I think, the same. You have Sudden Charge, which is the same, and Double Slice. So, again, just a few minor kind of changes to things like that. So we're just going to put those books away. And then we've got the Game Master's Guide here. And they both look to be, again, probably the same page count and everything. But what I'm interested in, I think there is a Bestiary section in here. And most of this should be the exact same. I don't think there's a lot that's really changed here. Oh, there's an owlbear. So it'll be interesting to see what they replace that with. I didn't realize there was an owlbear in there. But everything else I think should be pretty well similar. Actually, the Mimic might also have been removed from the game. I can't quite remember there. We got goblins. All right, we got our doppelganger. We do have drow, so actually there might be some more changes than I thought, because I think drow were also removed. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got here. So drow, mimics, and the owlbear, I think, have been taken out of the game. So let's see what we can find for the bestiary here. So there's hazards. Okay. All right, so we got animated armor and the giant ant. So if you can see those there, that's page 57. Okay, so we have the basilisk on the first page here. And then we have the basilisk on the second page. They did change the art style as well. So the original version of the basilisk looked more like the D&D version with like the multi-legged lizard, whereas the version in Pathfinder Remastered looks more snake-like. So we have the boar, the bugbear, marauder has been replaced with the bugbear prowler. The leopard is the same there. And, okay, so these might be your replacements for the drow. The Caligny, Dancer, Hunter, and Skulker. So we have the Centipede, and then we've got the drow there. So, like I said, that might be your replacement. We do have the Green Dragon Wormling. The Shark is there, the Cinder Rat, and the Elemental Hounder in both. Okay, so interesting. We have the Elemental Zephyr Hawk and the Gargoyle are the same, but the artwork is different for the Gargoyle between the two. So I believe this is the remastered version of the book. Uh-oh, did I? Oh yeah, okay. It does say it on the book itself. So I want to make sure I didn't make a mistake here. But yeah, so the Gargoyle art has changed. And then we also have the Ghoul Stalker instead of just like the Ghoul. And again, one of the things I like about the presentation of the Ghouls here is that they actually do have an intelligence, right, of +1, which would be the equivalent, like, roughly of like 110 IQ. So they're not stupid, right? They're not like these feral creatures, but they look almost mindless in the original version. So here they actually, wear clothes, and they could actually have like, I've always liked the idea of like the Kingdom of the Ghouls type of thing, right? So it's nice to see them look a little bit more sophisticated or cultured here. And then the artwork for the goblins and everything's going to be all the same. I wasn't expecting a difference there. Along with the gremlin. Then we got the Harpy, Hellhound, Hobgoblin Warrior, and the Kobold Mage. The Harpy art has changed a little bit. But the other three artworks are the exact same. Kobold Scout, Trapmaster, Warrior, and then the Mimic. Yeah, okay, so the Mimic has been removed. The other three kobolds look the same, but we've got a Minotaur Hunter. And there's no Minotaur in the original. So I guess the adventure must have changed a little bit. The next page has the exact same creatures there. Orc Marauder, Orc Commander, Orc Scrapper, Sewer Ooze, and the Ogre Warrior. So those are all there as well. Again, the only difference might be if they have like attack of opportunity. Instead, they would have reactive strike. Oh no, the Owlbear. Oh no, this is the original. So the Owlbear is there, along with the Orc Trooper, the Giant Rat, and the Shadow. And here we've got an Orc Veteran instead of the Trooper. We have a Giant Rat here. Then we've got the Reef Claw and the Shadow. So, all right, a few different creatures in here. The artwork for the Skeleton Guard, Giant Skeleton, Giant Viper, and Viper are the exact same in both. Then we've got the Giant Spider, the Troll. So the Web Lurker has been removed. And in its place we have a Warg, and then the white is the same creature, but has different artwork there for them. Then we got Wolf, Zul'Goth Boss, Zul'Goth Warrior, and the Zombie Shambler. And I think that's the last page of the creature stats. So yeah, so we have Zul'Goth Leader, again, different artwork for those. And the Zul'Goth Warrior, so different artworks for the two of them. As you can see. But the Zombie Shambler has the exact same art, and I think that's it for the creatures in there. And then we go to the Otari. So yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. So there are some more creature changes than I thought. So that would mean that there would be changes to some of the encounters, although not every creature in the Bestiary section was actually used in the included adventure here with the beginner box. And the reason for that was that they wanted you to create your own follow-up scenario. So that is why, there's creatures that are in there that weren't in the original, that were different from the original one. So we got the Horn Dragon in the remaster is kind of replacing the Green Dragon, but they aesthetically look very similar, and I think they have the same kind of abilities there, because they did swap out the dragon types. But yeah, so that's basically the main differences when it comes to the Game Master's book. And then we've got the characters themselves. So we did go over some of the things. So I don't want to go too much into all that, but let's just take a look at the character sheet here, because there should be some differences, or did they not? Actually, they maybe not included alignment. Oh no, so they have alignment here, but in the remaster, the alignment wasn't part of the game anymore. So that's just completely absent from that section of the character sheet. Everything else should be pretty well the same. The equipment, the abilities for the most part, just depending on, again, like the wording of them may have changed a little bit. And this one has the alignment, so I know that he goes in there. We'll just put him like that. We'll put him like that. Then we got Ezran. So again, it's just going to come down to he doesn't have an alignment in the remaster, and some of his spells are going to be different. School spells, again, are also, like, schools were done differently. They're not based off of, like, necromancy or illusion or transmutation anymore. Instead, they're kind of more, they're more loosely themed than that, but they're ones that can incorporate all different types of, like, those styles of spells. So it makes it a bit more diverse, which is probably why you have things like Spider Sting and stuff like that in the remastered version. That's not in the original. But again, for what he has for spells, so spells are Force Barrage of Mystic Armor, where in this one he actually had Magic Missile and Shocking Grasp, so he didn't actually have, the pre-gen character didn't actually have the Mage Armor prepared. And then they have got Daze, Detect Magic, Gouging Claw, Light, Message, and Telekinetic Projectile, whereas here, Detect Magic, Light, Mage Hand, Message, and Ray of Frost. So some slight differences there. But I mean, all the text about like the character's background and everything, like that's all gonna be the exact same. And then we've got Kyra the Cleric, or Kira, I guess however you want to pronounce that one. So again, here she was neutral good. We're more looking for her spells. So she had Burning Hands, Magic Weapon, and Heal for level 1. And the remastered character for level 1 has Breathe Fire, which is the exact same. Runic Weapon instead of Magic Weapon, but again, they're the exact same thing. And the heal spells work the exact same way as well. For their cantrips, again, pretty similar, but there are some like differences in the names of the spells. So we have Detect Magic, Disrupt Undead, which was renamed to Vitality Lash. So it deals 2d6 vitality damage to an undead creature. Whereas here, it's 1d6 plus 4, so they actually changed the dice on this one. 1d6 plus 4 positive damage to an undead creature within 30 feet. So they just kind of changed that to vitality, and it's 2d6 instead of a d6, probably plus his, or plus her wisdom modifier. And the Stabilize, which is the same, Message and Light, Detect Magic is all the same there as well. So again, just sort of some slight differences there. Oh, wrong one. That goes in that pile. And then we got Maricel or Maricel. I don't know how to pronounce these names. But we got the Chaotic Neutral. Some would say that's the ultimate alignment. And I don't think too much has changed here. So Sneak Attack, Low Light Vision. Yeah, Low Light Vision, Subtle Theft, Surprise Attack, Thief, Trap Spotter, and Whisper Elf. Yeah, okay. So the Thief is probably the most unchanged of all the characters there. So they pretty much have the exact same. Everything's pretty much the exact same and described the same way, worded the same way. And then we just have the character sheets, which again look pretty much the exact same as one another, except again it looks like the remaster. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera. Let's try to get these actually kind of more front and center. But the where the heart is in the box for the current hit points, along with the fortitude, it just looks like this is the remastered version has a slightly darker color to the character sheet. So the box art looks lighter, and there's some like slightly darker shades of stuff on the character sheet. But yeah, really cool. And the back of the sheet I think should also be pretty much the exact same. So adventure log, notes, spellbook, spellcasting, equipment, character portrait. Yeah, it just kind of comes down to again, slightly darker coloration, but I mean the darkness and stuff like that for these like character sheets, truthfully they could change from like print run to print run just based off of like if it's printed somewhere else or they have like, you know, newer ink or stuff like that. So but it's still pretty cool to see. And again, the tokens for the creatures would be the ones based on the bestiaries and the Game Master's Guide. So I'm not going to go through and pull those out. And the maps are going to be the same. So the maps where the adventure takes place in, like, they haven't changed. So I'm not going to go through and pull those out. So, like I said, I can't imagine any drastic differences with the maps versus everything else. So really cool to see. And I guess there'd also be different advertisements. I guess I should look at that. So instead of the bestiary here, it's advertising the monster core. Lost Omens World Guide, actually that should probably be, yeah, that would be the same on both. And then you got the GM core as opposed to the core rulebook there as well. So yeah, cool stuff. And we've got the orc notice, or the orc license on one end versus the OGL on the other, and there's a lot less, right? There's actually some artwork there for Ezrin on the orc license one versus the OGL, but those are basically your differences. Actually a little bit more than I thought. There were more creatures changed or that were present in the original scenario than I kind of remembered there being when I was looking through the adventures there, the scenarios. So that is sort of an interesting thing to note there. So like the Caligny have replaced the Drow. And then you have like the Mimic was taken out, but a Minotaur was put in place. Which is kind of cool because the giant skeleton artwork depicts an undead Minotaur. So, you can now sort of draw a connection between the two of those. But, there we go. So the classes are pretty similar, although some spell selections would have changed, or options available to them may have changed because of the way that they redid the schools of magic. Where it's instead of it being like the traditional magic schools of like necromancy and enchantment, conjuration, illusion, stuff like that, they're kind of more themed around something a little bit more abstract. And I wish I could remember them off the top of my head. I never get to play a character, so I don't actually look at a lot of the different character options. But they would have themes where like their spell list would actually be derived from spells that wouldn't have appeared if you were like specializing in one of the older schools of magic. It's just I do like the way that they present the curriculums for spellcasters a little bit better in the new version, but it's something that I can't properly articulate right now because again I never get to play the character, so I never like get to make a character and play it. And I've got so many other games and stuff that I'm running that it's kind of, I always, the players are responsible for knowing their own stuff. So I don't tend to look at a lot of like the player character options. But it does look like there's some interesting differences nonetheless between the two. So there you go. I mean, as big as the differences are, the games are still, compatible with one another. You just have to alter some terminology for the most part. I mean, having like the monsters from, the Orc license, like the OGL version, appearing in the newer one, like that's not really going to affect anything, or there's no changes mechanically that would make it difficult to use creatures from the previous iteration of the game. It's just when they removed the OGL from their system, they really went and kind of altered anything that even felt like it was closely associated with the brand that they were kind of stepping away from. So like Magic Missile, I don't think is like a copyrighted or trademark term. Like other systems can use the phrase Magic Missile, but Paizo just didn't want to because they wanted to create their own, version of the spell and their own identity to it. So it became Force Barrage, which is perfectly fine. So that's kind of where we stand with the Pathfinder 2nd Edition Beginner Box. Let me know in the comments below. Have you picked up either the remaster or the original version and played through it? I haven't played through the beginner box for this one as of yet, though I did use the beginner box when I went to King Con for like the game aids and things like that, and it worked really well to have those, like what you can do on your turn with little tokens for each action point and your reaction. So it was really cool to have that there for it. But other than that, I haven't run the adventure. If you have, let me know how that went for you. Have you picked up the remastered version? Now that you've seen some of the differences, like what different creatures are included, the differences in some of the class spell options or some of the terminology, would you be interested in picking up the new remastered version of it as a replacement for the original? Let me know all that in the comments below. Thank you all so very much for your time once again. I really appreciate it. And this has been a long week. I'm not going to lie. During this period, we had some concerns with like our puppy was having some tummy issues during this week. And some other stuff just sort of going on. So it's been a long week, but it's been a lot of fun to work on these starter set related videos. But going forward, at least for the next few weeks, we're probably just going to be back to a couple videos a week. With some polls and stuff going up for people to kind of help steer the course of this channel. So again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.